Welcome to Abnormal Truth, everyone. Thanks for clicking in. This is part 3 of the JFK Mandela effect, and this is going to wrap it all up. Basically, I do have a lot to say here, but I'm going to talk about some of the things I learned from the comments and the messages and all the feedback I got just within the last week. I want to talk about some residue evidence that's still around after this. I want to talk a little bit about how this isn't all just false memories. And so, first of all, I'd like to say it's amazing how many people are remembering the 4 people in the car reality. I would have to, a lowball estimate is there has to be hundreds of thousands of people at least in the states that have this Mandela effect, and it's probably a whole lot more. There's no way for me to collect that data. I'm just going by the overwhelming responses I'm getting. And you have to remember there's a lot of people out there that still just do not know they have this Mandela effect. And so, if I say there's 100,000 people out there that have this Mandela effect, that is a low ball estimate for sure. And when you have that many people, and probably 10 times more, having a false memory, you would have just different variations of all these different Mandela effects, and that's not what we see. We're seeing congruency across the board here, and we're all remembering that the Z film, a lot of us remember that being in black and white. We're all remembering that there was only 4 people in the car and it wasn't a stretched limo. And so, it was really overwhelming to get that many comments back of everybody going, yeah, there was only 4 people in the car. And so I heard a lot of stories in the comments and messages about people, and why they remember it was only 4 people in the car. A few people had their old high school or college reports that they did, and they got A's on them, and they never mentioned the governor or his wife in the car, and so that's interesting. One gentleman went to go visit his grandmother a few days ago, because she was actually there at the assassination in Dallas, and he asked her without bringing up the Mandela effect or anything, and she said there were 4 people in the car. So just all kinds of interesting stories like that. On Father's Day, I was visiting my folks, and I asked them, and they said 4. So it's very interesting on how widespread this is. It seems to be as big as the Berenstain Bears. So yeah. And what else do we have going on here? Some of the more interesting comments were from JFK researchers. Instead of calling them conspiracy theorists or whatever, I'm just going to call them JFK researchers. Those that have looked into this JFK assassination. And so I'd like to say something about those guys too. I've been into, the paranormal phenomena, conspiracy theories all my life. I picked up my first UFO book when I was 6. And I know that the JFK assassination is the hardest conspiracy theory to try to break open. And so these guys, a lot of them have been into this for decades. And what I would like to say is that when I was making part 1 and part 2, I was actually wondering if any JFK researchers would actually have this Mandela effect, and that was important because these guys are the best witnesses for this particular Mandela effect. Just like if you were having a UFO sighting, and I'm not really a UFO researcher anymore, by the way, but I'm just using it as an example. If you were having a UFO sighting, I would like for there to be 5 policemen there as witnesses, because those guys are trained observers. You're going to get a more accurate, detailed description of events from those type of people. So they just make good witnesses, right? Well, a JFK researcher that has been doing this for a while is a great witness to this Mandela effect. And they would also be resistant, okay, to wanting to even be going on, because like I said, this is a complicated, convoluted conspiracy theory that's had so many distractions thrown at it. They don't want any more complication in this conspiracy theory. I can tell you, they do not need another monkey wrench. I understand that, and so they are pretty much, the best witnesses you can have. You've got they've studied this. They wouldn't really want this Mandela effect. This is probably the last Mandela effect that they would ever want, and they make just the good witnesses for this. And so as I was making part 1 and 2, I was wondering if anybody was going to comment, that had been studying this for decades. And as of right now, I've talked to 8 JFK researchers with a decade or more of experience, and they're freaking out because they've always known it to be the 4-person reality. The governor and his wife was never in the car. So all this stuff has changed almost right before their eyes, and they're not dealing with it too well. As you can imagine, like those of you that have had like the Star Wars Mandela effects, it's kind of upsetting, right? Because in the first place, your reality has changed, but then it changed something that you liked. So it pisses you off. Well, this is like 10 times worse because this is something they've been studying for decades. They know all the different theories. And when you take 2 people out of the middle of the car, it changes a lot. And so, I mean, they are flabbergasted about this. And I, for one, they're not going to have false memories, guys. When you study something for even a year, you would know that the governor and his wife was in the car. This isn't false memories at all, guys. And this Mandela effect is probably one of the better examples of why the Mandela effect isn't all false memories. I can guarantee you there's at least 100,000 people having this Mandela effect, and there's probably millions. I can't grab any numbers, so I'm super lowballing this number. And so we have 100,000 people just for giggles, and so we would have a lot more different variances in what was going on in the other JFK universe there. And instead, we have everybody going, how come this is in color? I only remember 4 people in the car. That extra side windshield thing is sticking out like a sore thumb. I don't remember that. And so that's what's going on here, guys. This is turning out to be this is reaching Berenstain Bear status here, if not way more. And so, this isn't just letters on a cereal box changing or anything like that. There's more variables people could have with false memories in this one, and they don't. And so that is something very important I learned from just putting these videos out. And I have to say, it's the coolest thing about owning a YouTube channel is getting all this feedback and the information you receive. And so I also need to mention the JFK researchers that do not have this Mandela effect, and they are perturbed, and I understand why. But they're disturbed just like the other researchers, because in their reality it's always been 6 people, and here you have people going, well, there's always been 4 people in the car, and they're like, oh my God, no, there wasn't. And they don't want any more complications in this, and I understand that. But I'm telling you guys, I know you didn't have this Mandela effect. This is, I'm talking to you guys, but this is happening. And we're not all just making this up, and we really can't prove it to you. This is just something that the only solace we have is each other. And then there's always some kind of residue evidence on a Mandela effect, and I'm going to go over some of those because I found some really cool things on that end. Here's a picture of a replica car in the Henry Ford Museum. Now, what is wrong with this picture? A replica car is supposed to be an exact representation of the car you're replicating, okay? If you're making a replica car of the Dukes of Hazzard, it needs to be pretty much exactly like it was on the TV show, okay? That is a replica car. This one is a 4-seater. So, yeah. Why is this replica car a 4-seater exactly like the one us having the Mandela effect or having? All right, very strange. Red flag, residue, physical evidence right there in the Henry Ford Museum. Why would they make a replica car? That's not a replica car anymore. So I'm probably going to call them up and tell them, hey, this isn't a stretch limo. It's not a replica car. That's false advertising. I'm going to sue if you don't do another car. I could do something mean like that, which is just not me. I'm just, over exaggerating the point that this is not a replica car anymore because the Mandela effect is pretty much what it looks like. Now, also, we have the JFK reenactment picture here, and I believe this, is kind of a recent reenactment. This isn't the Warren Commission or anything, and this guy is grabbing his throat just like I said I remember JFK did instead of that weird mannerism, all right? Now, it's really funny that I found this picture of a modern JFK reenactment, and somebody clearly grabbing his throat in the way I remember JFK grabbing his throat. So, I mean, that to me is some residue evidence right there, big time, because, when you're doing a reenactment, I don't understand why he didn't do that like that fist in front of the mouth thing that he actually did. Why would he just grab his throat? Yeah, he got shot in the throat, but he's doing it just like I remember. That's highly suspicious. What do you guys think? Because in part 2, I was talking about that. I said that mannerism is weird looking, and I just remember him grabbing his throat as the guy is doing so in this reenactment. Isn't that wild? Now the Warren Commission reenactment, and see, they used a 4-person car in the reenactment. Why would they do that? Why would they not have a stretched limo with extra people in there? And so that's what I mean by residue data. There's 3 examples right there that I found tonight on kind of leftovers of this reality that some of us remember. Why were they making these cars that we remember? How come the replica car isn't a replica anymore? And it isn't, because it's not a stretched limo. And so, anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this all up here, but I would just like to say that this is an extraordinary Mandela effect, and to me now it is the biggest Mandela effect so far as of the making of this video. It really is. It's got so much going for it that it is now the strongest Mandela effect I can think of. So Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm also actually need your help. I don't ask for subs much, guys, but I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and I really want your help. If you've been listening to my videos and you just haven't subscribed yet, subscribe for me. Just help me out. I have a goal, and my goal in life is to hit 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And so that would really help me out if you did that, guys. And I will see you all next time very shortly.